Okay, hello everyone. I'm gonna do a brief video. Um, I figured, you know, with everything going on in the world, we need to talk about the election tomorrow. You should be seeing this video on Monday morning, hopefully after 7 o'clock. I want this to be something that you pay attention to while you're first taking your sip of coffee in the morning, or maybe there are people who like caffeinated tea in the morning. But to that regard, look, we have a very important election coming up tomorrow, and we know what's at stake for the future of this country. We know that inflation is way too high. In 2022, it got to a insanely amount of craziness. Sorry if I'm having a word salad, but inflation got to its highest point in almost 40 years. The average family of four cannot afford, once again this calendar year, to afford a basic Thanksgiving dinner. Now, if you look at the cost of food from year over year, and you look at the scene in Home Alone where Kevin only paid under $20 for his Christmas Eve dinner when he was left home alone, all right, that price has dramatically skyrocketed in the past 30 years. All right, and we all can point the finger at Biden and Harris. It's their fault that we have this record amount of high inflation. You know, baby formula, the diapers for those first time parents, they were complaining 2 years ago. I kept hearing it when I was on the campaign trail, when I was running for state senate. You know, I was proposing a sales tax free holiday. I was going to do it my first year in the state senate. I was going to put it in the state budget, and I was going to make sure that Hochul was going to do it. But that didn't happen. You all know the story. But we did not get that exemption because I was not elected to the state senate and I couldn't help anybody in that regard. So baby formula, baby diaper, that went up dramatically. All right. And it went up to an astronomical cost for these first time parents. So inflation is still going to be on the ballot. The future of the economy is still going to be on the ballot. Wall Street is very optimistic that Donald Trump is going to win tomorrow, but there's still something the Democrats could pull at the very last minute today or maybe even tomorrow. I still think that our elections are not secure. You know, we need to have voter ID going forward. How come other countries have voter ID, but yet we can't mandate that? You know, Donald Trump understands that we need voter ID laws going forward. And, you know, we have to prevent future election fraud. We have to secure our elections going forward. Because even though Donald Trump cannot run again, because remember, that's his second term. That's it. He cannot run for a third term in 2028. You know, either it's J.D. Vance, either it's Vivek Ramaswamy. Because honestly, I don't want to see Ron DeSantis as the party nominee in a couple years from now. But if it's one of the two that I've just talked about, you know, we have to make sure that if they're running again in the next 4 years, we secure our election. And that starts by helping Donald Trump out tomorrow. So the other thing that, again, I'm scared about is the future and the sovereignty of Israel. Obviously, we've known what's happened in the past month. Iran is getting stronger with their nuclear weapon program. It's getting very scary to think that they could pull something again. You know, they're thinking of launching another attack to Israel. And I'm glad Netanyahu, right after Simchat Torah ended, he did the right thing. He had to retaliate back to the Iranian government. So you're not going to mess with the Israeli defense, all right? Because look at the two most powerful militaries in the world, supposedly. It's supposed to be the United States, and then it's supposed to be Israel. So obviously, if you put Kamala in, it's going to be the same rhetoric of Kamala saying ceasefire now, versus Donald Trump. You know, I'm hoping that Donald Trump can do something, let the Israeli hostages get freed, hopefully, and we can hopefully get peace and sovereignty back into the Middle East. Because a lot of liberals don't understand is that when Donald Trump was president, from 2017 to 2021, we had no new wars, foreign, All right, no new wars were started under Donald Trump. Everybody was going to be afraid, oh, Donald Trump and North Korea were going to, launch nuclear warfare. But you know what? Donald Trump has been negotiating deals for a very long time. How do you think the Commodore at the Hyatt got done? How do you think Trump Tower got done? How do you think, Woolman Rink got done? That was him. He built most of the infrastructure around Midtown Manhattan. So he's been doing this stuff for many, many years. Now, if Donald Trump had won in 2020, okay, I would have been panicking that I wasn't getting my stimulus check. But maybe there would have been a compromise. I don't know. But now I'm very scared, about what's going to happen if Kamala wins. I don't want to talk about abortion, but if you put Kamala in there, there's going to be late-term abortions allowed in this country. Do I support a national ban? I was originally scared for the women of this country, but again, we have to focus on keeping and preserving the Dobbs versus Jackson decision. We should let the states decide on what they want to do with their abortion rights. It's not going to be banned nationally, all right? You're going to have Democrat governors, if they allow late-term abortions, then there's going to be consequences. Because I'm sure Newsom in California, I'm sure Hochul in New York, and to an extent, I'm sure when Meyer comes into Delaware, he's going to allow that to happen. And that's a very scary thing to think, that in the third or fourth trimester, the baby's going to get killed. It's an awful thing. But will national abortion ban happen? I don't know. If it does, it needs to be negotiated. You can't just be, oh, it's going to be 6 to 9 weeks. I'm sure it can be negotiated because, again, Donald Trump is a negotiator. He knows how to get things done. So these are issues that are going to drive people out to vote. We've had a record amount of people voting in this country early. And early voting here in New York ended yesterday. So, I'm very scared if Kamala wins because, Kamala's also going to tax senior citizens. She's going to tax Social Security. She said that she wants to tax Social Security. She hasn't admitted it, but she's going to do it. She's going to tax your Social Security if you're 65 and older. And she's going to tax Medicare and Medicaid. She has all these crazy ideas that are going to make our country so weak. So you all have a responsibility tomorrow. I don't know if I can convince any other liberals out there, but it's a very scary thought. I don't want to see Kamala win, and especially because I am very scared that if something happens to Kamala, we could have a much worse person. Tim Walz is a radical left nut job. He let Minnesota and Minneapolis crumble during the Black Lives Matter movement. Look at all the looting and the rioting that happened. He turned down the National Guard. Donald Trump was offering the National Guard to Minneapolis. And Tim Walz said, no, Donald, we're not going to put the National Guard in Minneapolis. So, same thing with de Blasio. When we had the Black Lives Matter, de Blasio said to Trump, screw you. I'm not going to have the National Guard come in and deal with these protesters. It's an awful thing. Even if Donald Trump wins, we're still dealing with a threat from the radical left in this country. Not that many people realize that. The next 4 years from now, the Democrats could put in Gavin Newsom. All right? So we have to focus on the here and now, and that's stopping Kamala Harris and Tim Walz tomorrow. We put Donald Trump in, we're in very good shape for 2026 to maybe keep the House and the Senate. And who knows? We can even take back the House and the Senate tomorrow. And who knows? 2028 could be another great year. And I'll say this. Donald Trump is an old man. and God forbid something happens to him, I'm very confident that on day one, Senator Vance can lead this country. I really think with the charisma and the passion that he brings to politics, I really think he has proved himself during this campaign to be strong. And let's say if Donald Trump was assassinated in Butler over the summer. Let's say if that were to happen. I guarantee you, I would have been convinced to support Senator Vance to be the party's nominee. I would have been convinced to support JD from the start. Because if JD was nominated and we were grieving over President Trump's assassination, God forbid, that's what probably would have happened. So, again, I can't convince my liberal friends to change their minds. There's nothing I can do. But if you haven't voted yet, and you care about the economy, you care about inflation, you care about Israel right now, and you care about saving life, you're going to vote for Donald Trump tomorrow if you have not voted yet. I'm very scared for the future of this country right now. And I'll mention one more thing. And again, if you live in Queens where I am, we have our dream team tomorrow. So go out and vote for Joseph Jew for Congress. Go out and vote for Kenneth Peck for the State Assembly. Because Nellie Rosick needs to be held responsible for supporting bail reform, by the way. And we need our trust and estate cases here in Queens to move fairly here. And that's why I urge you to vote for Stephen Weiner for surrogate court tomorrow. And I also want to mention, if you live in the 28th Assembly District, we need to stop Andrew Hevesy tomorrow. So go out and vote for John Rinaldi if you live in Kew Gardens, Forest Hills, and Regal Park tomorrow, if you have not voted. And I also want to mention, if you live in Long Island, I would urge you, please, by all means, vote for Anthony D'Esposito if you live in that 4th Congressional District. The Democrats have pulled a coup. Laura Gillen and her super PAC friends are basically manipulating this election. We also need to stand behind our great candidate in the North Shore of Nassau County. So, please consider re-electing Jack Martin to the state Senate tomorrow. Also want to mention that we need Tom Suozzi to be held accountable. So I would urge you to vote for Mike LaPetri. I would also urge you to please also reconsider re-electing Nick LaLota in Suffolk County tomorrow. John Avalon is a secret Bill de Blasio Democrat. He doesn't want to admit it. He's hiding it from you. But, he supports the radical left ideology of what Bill de Blasio caused to New York City. And not to mention, overvalued my property here in Queens. So I still blame de Blasio for that. So, trust me, there's a lot I'm going to say, hopefully on my birthday. Oh, I want to mention, if you live in upstate New York and you're in Elise Stefaniak's district, please go out and vote for her. Because I think Elise is going to be the future of the party going forward. Elise is a very strong and confident woman. And remember, she grilled those 3 Ivy League schools over the anti-Semitism. So, yeah, Mark Cuban, we have strong women behind Donald Trump. How dare you make that comment last weekend? Okay, so I'm done here. Actually, no, it was last Thursday he made that comment, right? So I'm done talking. The future of our country is at stake on Monday. And, the bottom line is we must help Donald Trump on Tuesday. I don't care if I'm being driven into the orange man juice like other people claim I am. I'm not only thinking about this election, but I'm thinking about the next election. Because, again, I think we can look in the long run. We can maybe get J.D. Vance or Vivek Ramaswamy as our nominee in the next couple of years. And whatever the Democrats want to throw at us then, bring it on. But for now, it starts by stopping Harris and by stopping Walz. So go on out and vote tomorrow if you haven't. The polls will be open tomorrow here in New York from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. So make your voices heard. If you want to, again, stop inflation, support Israel, and stop all this crazy late-term abortion nonsense, go on out and vote tomorrow. Thank you for watching.